Let's go to my panel now across London and Washington DC. I'm going to go first to Victoria Churchill, who has an exclusive line on this story. Victoria, what do you have for us?
Yeah, so when we at the Daily Mail reached out to the White House about these reports, they said that first off, they didn't want to see the islands sold off, which I think is important. And then they also said that they realize the importance of the relationship, both of the UK and the US, when it comes to Diego Garcia. So, that's just kind of the latest that we've seen. But of course, it's interesting to see how this will develop over the next few days.
Well, following on from that, Victoria, how much, so the latest was that the US effectively scuppered the deal that the UK was trying to push through Parliament as quickly as humanly possible. How much of that scuppering was a genuine concern about the threats that would come with the territory falling into Mauritius's, and I would argue by extension, China's hands, and how much of this was just Donald Trump being petulant for the UK not supporting him in the Middle East?
I think the one thing that the president has always shown is that he always wants to see America's strategic advantages at least stay the same, if not advance. When we go back to, for example, the Greenland discussion of a few months ago, that was kind of his big reason, I think, outside of kind of the bombastic comments of, oh, we want to buy Greenland, underneath all of that was this concern for U.S. national security, particularly when it comes to the Arctic Circle, and not letting America's adversaries advance their control over territories where the U.S. or U.S. allies have a stake. And so, of course, we saw nothing publicly really come of those Greenland negotiations, but I think if we look under the surface, what we had was kind of a recommitment of Denmark saying basically the U.S. can do whatever they want militarily when it comes to Greenland. And so I think there's quite a close parallel when you look at Diego Garcia, is that the US wants to have its fingerprints in regions all across the world. And, if our allies unfortunately get in the way of that, that's when we kind of advance and make these statements, courtesy of President Trump, that seem a little bit bombastic. But I think with him, you really have to be able to read between the lines and figure out what he's actually saying is that the US can't lose strategic advantages, whether that's to countries in the Arctic Circle or to countries like China in, of course, where Diego Garcia would be.